What's going on, guys? Alex here at 14EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Vosteed Mini Nightshade. So this is in via the Lefty passaround group, and this is part of the duo package of this and the Giant Mouse Ace Rib LL, which you guys saw in yesterday's video. Yesterday's upload, I did my full review on that, and I'm coming back at you with, again, another great little EDC knife. I was very surprised by this, of how much I liked it. This is the second Shillian cutter I've had in, or second Nightshade model I've had in on the channel. I believe last year, I had their full-size model with the hole, and I really liked that knife. I had great action. It was fun to fidget with. Surprisingly good ergos, a good cutter, and I ended up trading it, I think, for something more premium, or I got rid of it to put put those funds towards something else. But I did really like that knife, and again, I was very surprised by this. So like I said, it's in via the Lefty passaround group. So Kevin, thank you so much for always loaning out dope shit for us to check out and review and just get to carry. A lot of these knives I would never get to experience in my life if it wasn't for Kevin and a couple other guys in the community. But I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. I'm tired today for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's kind of a long day. Just kind of tired, beat up. I don't know. But I'm gonna do this review for you guys, get it banged out for you. So yeah, before I get into specific materials of this knife, I'll go over the materials first and give my rating on it, and then we'll talk about different variations of it. So for materials, obviously, small knife. It's a 2.6 inch blade of 14C 28N, dual thumb studs. There's a Vosteed logo. There's 14C on the blade right there on this beautiful mini Shillian cutter. Comes down to a thin edge. Just really gravitates towards just eating up material, which we'll talk about in the ergo department. But it is a Axis style lock. Has a mini loop upper style deep carry pot clip that is lefty or righty. You have a, looks to be bronze backspacer. I will confirm, hopefully on the website, if that is the case. No internal milling, but it's green G10. Nice, thin, lightweight knife. Again, thin behind the edge. So pretty good budget-friendly materials. So with the price of these going into, the cost and the materials, I have to say that this is a 5 out of 5. I'm going to be pretty... I'm pretty happy with that price. Again, we'll hit on that later, but I really think this is a good value. A lot of people think when they get smaller knives in, they shouldn't cost as much, and it should lower the price on them. But I think this is a really good price for everything with this material-wise, everything with the action, the ergos built in. I think that the price for this is good. So comparing that with the materials, I'm going to give it a 5. Now, like I said, there are a couple different variations of this out there. There's a kind of a budget level, which are all currently sold out on the website, which I will leave linked in the description down below. If you guys are interested, definitely hop over to Vosteed's website and check them out. But the budget line is a black G10 handle with a red thumb stud, which I believe that was the first one that came out. Then you have a green G10, or this one, excuse me. And then you have a gray G10 with a stainless steel or gray thumb stud. So those are all the same price. And then you also have the premium line, which are $99, and they are two or three different types of carbon fiber and S35VN, and they all have different thumb studs and they all look very similar, but one thumb stud's blue, one thumb stud is orange, one blade is black. So there's 3 different variations of those. But it's nice that giving you kind of 3 different variations of those and 3 different variations of the budget category. But like I said, all 3 of the G10 models are sold out, and 2 of the carbon fiber ones are sold out. So if you guys are interested, there is one currently still available on the website. But next, we're going to jump into aesthetic. And this kind of, I feel like you have to be a fan of these Shillian style blades. They look like a banana, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think it's the most handsome looking knife in the world, but I have grown to appreciate this style of blade. And honestly, the handle's pretty neutral. If you took away the I'm gonna try to do this without cutting myself. But if you took away the blade, the handle's pretty neutral. It's pretty basic. Then you add the blade in there. It's like, oh, it's kind of a crazy looking knife, which it is. It's an interesting looking knife. And again, I'm not gonna say that this is my favorite blade shape, but I do like it, and I have grown to appreciate the way this looks and the way it flows and the way it comes across. So I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't think it's the best looking knife in the world, but I do think it's pretty damn good looking once you get accustomed to it and kind of learn to appreciate it per se. So one big thing is I'm trying to do in the new year, which I know New Year's resolutions, everyone, whatever. I'm trying to drink a lot more water, which it's 3 days in the month, and I think I've been doing pretty good. I've averaged like 2 to 3 hydro flasks. You saw me drinking out of my Stanley the other video. So I've been doing 2 or 3 of those, which is pretty good, considering I was probably drinking about one of them, half of them to one of them before. So I'm trying to drink more water, but that's neither here nor there. Next up, we're going to talk about action. Now, the action is really good on this, but the detent is kind of weak. So you guys can see, and obviously it's an Access style lock, so you're not going to get a great snappy detent on this. That's just kind of how it is. You kind of have a little bit of a mush, and it snaps closed, but it's weird. It doesn't have a detent, but when you fire it out, it almost feels like it's assisted at times. Like when you thumb flick it, it almost feels, it's the weirdest thing. Like there's some times where you're like, it's just kind of limping out, and like, I mean, you guys can see, I'm barely pushing this knife, and that's the detent. But other times you get like a really good thumb set action. You're like, man, that thing is snappy. So it's like the best of both worlds, kind of, or it's like complete opposites, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it's a smaller knife, so I'm not don't have a whole lot of hand room to kind of mount on down here. So the clip is very important for me when I'm thumb flicking, but. Dual thumb studs, so thumb flick. Probably my favorite way, because middle finger flicking with this small knife is just awkward, because you have to like adjust your hand down here where it sits in the palm, flies out, and then you have to kind of like adjust your hand again to use the Access style lock. But thumb flick works well. Middle finger flick isn't bad. It's just kind of like really weird with your hands for how small it is. It just feels awkward, but you can slow roll it. You can index finger flick it. So the action is good, but it's also like weird at the same time. And I think if this was just like a normal full-size knife, it would make the action that much better. But to have, good blade drop, which is, if you get a nice tuned Access style lock, you get that. You can do the Access style floppy flop dance over here. But a lot of the time, I'll do this where I don't pull. Once you get in a rhythm of being able to let go of the Access style lock when it's dropping, I mean, that's fun to fidget with. So I'm going to say on the fidget, I'm going to give it a 4 again. I don't think it's not the best, but it's still pretty good to where it's deserving, I think, of a 4. So next up, we're going to talk about Acoustics. It's G10, so you're not going to get like the craziest dings and tings and rings and sings and whatever you want to say. You do get a little bit when it's open, or when you thwack it open. You do get a little bit of a ting, but honestly, the ting is satisfying. And if you get in a rhythm of fidgeting with it, you can probably hear it a little bit. Then on the close, Access style lock knives kind of have a way of, they're very similar when they close, when it kind of seats itself in. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Again, not the best, but could be better, could be much better, I guess. So next up, we're gonna talk about ergos. Now, ergos in this knife are very, very comfortable. So it's a small knife. Like I said, I forgot to give stats on it earlier, but let me check here for you guys. So obviously I did say it's a 2.6 inch blade, so it's a small knife, but the handle is, so blade length 2.6 inches, overall length 6.31, handle length 3.71. So it's a very, minimalistic handle. You have just pretty much a straight line. Honestly, from like, I don't know if I can show you this, from like there down, it looks like a bug out, the way the bug out handle is shaped, but then it has a little bit of curvature down here. But I can get all 4 fingers on here very comfortably, very, very nicely. You know, I don't have a whole lot of room back here, but you guys can see it's comfortable. I don't have a choil, but the way the handle is shaped, it's just very neutral. Has a little bit of swell to it. It's very comfortable. Pot clip is a loop over style deep carry clip, so it's not the most ergonomic in the world. So I can definitely feel it, but unless I'm just like absolutely torquing down on this, you're not going to feel it that much. Thumb lands right out here, basically in the middle of the blade. There is no jimping, but I really don't think you need it with this knife. And you get excellent grip this way. This just locks into your hand. And I think the best for this blade shape is like cutting through cardboard, because this blade shape just wants to like suck and pull in the material. It just keeps the material in the path of the blade really well. And this just feels really, really good for processing cardboard and so on and so forth. To me, that's what I feel like Schillen blades are best used for, you know, from an EDC purpose. Obviously, they can do other things pretty well, but for me, whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, I bet that thing just eats through cardboard. And I did cut a little bit with it, and it did really well. You know, it has a pretty good edge on it from the 14C28N. Pinch grip obviously works really well with this. And a Schillen, you kind of have a lower point, so you just got to drop it down. I've ripped a few packages with this, cut a few tape labels. You know, sorry about that, guys. My phone ran out of storage, and I had to delete some stuff and move some stuff. And did you guys know that messages take up like a ton of storage on your phone? Mine was like 12 gigabytes, and I was like, okay, gotta delete this, gotta move some stuff around. So I believe I was talking about ergos, and more specifically with the 7-Eleven gas station knife fights with Kevin with some Slurpees. I feel like if you really had to do some slicing and dicing with this, fits in the hand really good, have a nice kind of landing area for your thumb up here. And this blade shape is just good, I feel like, for slicing and dicing. Hopefully you never have to use a knife like this in a self-defense manner, but I think you could decently well in a pinch if you needed to. So overall, for ergos, the G10 is has a nice smooth texture to it, not too aggressive, which is nice. Feels really good for the size. I really am going to give this a 5 out of 5. I think it's a great ergonomic knife, again, for the size. I really don't think you can, you know, complain too much. I really enjoy it. I think it from a multitude of grips, you know, saber grip, hammer grip, reverse hammer grip, again, knife grip, or fighting grip, all around just a really good knife, and specifically ergonomically. So 5 out of 5 on that. Next up is carry, which again, you guys are probably going to guess it's a 5 out of 5, which, spoiler alert, it is. So small, so compact. It's like a 3.7 inch handle. Almost disappears into my hand, pretty much does. You have a reversible clip that is a loop over style deep carry clip. Goes about that much up, or shows about that much of the knife out of your pocket. Not a big deal at all. Very, very small, very lightweight. You have no flipper tab, no jimping right here. Just sits in the pocket really well. This thing would be a fantastic gym shorts or shorts carry in the summertime. So I think that would be a huge draw to a lot of people, but I'm not going to go over it too much. You guys can already probably tell why, but again, 5 out of 5. Really just a fantastic carry. And lastly, but certainly not leastly is not a word, I don't know why I said that, price point / value and what I recommend this knife. So price point on the Mini Vosteed the Mini Nightshade coming from Vosteed is $59. If you can find this on a website like White Mountain Knives that has codes, you can get that for even cheaper. But sub $60 for this, guys, I can absolutely recommend this every single day and twice on Sundays. I think for the value, you know, under $60 for 14C, a loop over style deep carry clip that is reversible, an access style lock that works pretty good, you know, gives you pretty solid action for the size of the knife. Fantastic ergos, fantastic cutting ability with a pretty usable blade shape when all things are considered. Sub $60, how can you beat that? So easy 5 for me on that. I'm trying to be, you know, transparent about things, but I really don't think that that's a bad value. And I think, you know, can I recommend it? Again, absolutely, guys. If you like this blade shape, I think you're going to like this knife. Now, it all just depends on what size. You know, if you're looking for something in this size range, I think you're going to love it. I would love to see this with like a 3.15 inch blade, a little bit bigger, more of a full size knife. I could absolutely get down with that. And I kind of honestly miss this blade shape in my collection. So might have to, you know, come back to Vosteed at some point and get one of these. The S35EN ones would be really nice for $99. But honestly, for $60, I love 14C. I love G10. This will do everything I needed to do. So easy recommendation to you guys. If you like the blade shape, I really think that you're going to like this knife in general. And I just think it's a little springy. I just think it's a good knife, and I really have enjoyed it, since I've had it in. But I'm going to do a quick add up here to see what my score is, to see what my final rating of the Mini Nightshade is. But input the Jeopardy music here. Do 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 do. You guys are probably thinking, Alex, you're so weird. Alrighty, so the Vosteed Mini Nightshade is actually, out of the 3 knives I've reviewed so far in 2024, this is coming in at the highest rating so far. So I have a 31.5, which is landing in my gray category, 30 to 32.5. So I think that's a very fair, fair placement for it. I think that's, very, very good. I really like the knife. I think it has a lot of good qualities to it. Yeah, so hopefully you guys were able to get a good rendition of my opinions on it, my thoughts, my goals, whatever you want to call them, on the Vosteed knives and Mini Nightshade. But this was my full review on the Mini Nightshade from Vosteed. I'm going to quit rambling. I'm going to quit ranting. But let me know down below, do you guys like Vosteed as a company? Have you had a Mini Nightshade? Have you had a bigger Nightshade? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and I'll respond back to you. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.